Hello, friends. Let's see here. Please let the lag be gone. Let me know in the chat if the lag is bad. We will see. We will see. Yeah, I don't know what kind of internet I'm using. It looks better now. So far, so good, they say. So far, so good. Okay. Everybody, I am so sorry about this. How absurdly dumb. For now, things seem fine. Okay, well, we'll start it. We'll start up here, and we will see how things go. If it gets laggy, we're going to reschedule for tomorrow, same time. All right, sounds good. Okay, hi everybody. My name is James Panka. As I've said like 300 times so far today. Great. I guess no lag. Cool. Thank God. All right, folks, welcome to Devstream number 8, UI UX. We're going to hear about that. Again, as I said, we will have questions at the end of the stream if we get to that point. If you have questions for Luke or myself about the topic of the day, just put question in all caps, and then we will answer that question. The one question I saw before this all happened, someone asked why are deck streams only on Twitch. It's just we decided to do it this way. We're new to Twitch, and we want to have something on Twitch that's exclusive to Twitch. And then that's what we decided to do, was put that. So that way the official game stuff is on YouTube and Twitch. And then the more fun, like me just goofing around playing Adventure Out of Time, is just on Twitch. It's not like a YouTube thing. We'll keep YouTube more of our professional thing. So cool. So also we have super chats. They're open. They should be open. We appreciate all of the donations people send in. Super chats are up, and because it's on this program, we can put your little super chat on screen. Great. All right. I think we're good. I think we're doing well. Awesome. So the only thing that we don't have is the video, which I'll find a way to show it to you guys. Don't worry. Yes, the one thing, okay, see, here we go. Boom. Super chat from Matt DeWinkler, the one and only. Who are you? I am James Panka. Thank you very much for that. In fact, I am James Panka, creative director. There we go. Okay, so we have that. Cool. So I was going to talk about something dumb. Let's not do something dumb. Let's just get right into the topic of the day. Let me pull up my schedule. Don't I have that up somewhere? Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the questions. Oh, and then there's, as I mentioned, there's going to be a giveaway at the end of the stream. We're going to give away. Well, no, I won't tell you what we're giving away. I'll tell you at the end. There will be a trivia question, and first person to ask it on YouTube and first person to answer it on YouTube and first person to answer it on Twitch will get a free gift from us, and eternal glory. Okay, so everybody, we're here to talk about UI and UX. I would tell you what that means, but I forgot what the I stands for. We're just going to bring in the guy who does it. Luke is one of our newer members of our team. He reached out to us, I forget how long ago, he'll have to tell us. He's just doing incredible work for the team. So let's just bring him in here. This is Luke McHugh.
Hello there.
Hi there, Luke. How are you?
I'm good. How could you forget the I? It's the best bit.
I know. I couldn't remember if it's interface or interaction or something. So yeah. First of all, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and then tell us the burning question, what UI and UX stands for.
So I'm Luke. I'm THG's UI UX designer. I'm from Cheshire in England. if you couldn't already tell. Yeah, so UI UX. So UI is essentially user interface design. So essentially all of your menus, heads-up displays, all that kind of thing. UX is user experience. So some people are probably thinking, why does this game need a user experience designer? Well, it comes down to sort of two things initially. So you have usability and learnability. Fundamentally, usability is all about maximizing effectiveness, efficiency, satisfaction. Stay with me, guys. It's about designing interfaces and sort of instructional elements that are as intuitive as possible. And that intuitiveness is so important. There's a really cool saying in industry, and that's the UI and the UX design is like a joke. If you have to explain it, then it clearly isn't very good. You should be able to sort of pick up a game and navigate the interfaces without really having to think too much about it, and then eventually it's like riding a bike. It's making what should be fairly simple, fairly straightforward interactions as painless as possible. Getting from point A to point B in as little clicks as possible. And just the smallest glitch or little annoyance in the UI can potentially render an otherwise beautiful and fantastically engineered game into quite an irritating and mentally exhaustive experience. So as a UX designer, it's my job to kind of rule out what we call the player pain points and all that frustration, and it's finding a design solution that is usable and that that resonates with people. I guess in a nutshell, it's a quality attribute that we apply to design to make sure that we're not disrupting immersion. If you're truly engrossed in something, if you're kind of in the moment and captivated by the environment, the last thing you need is an interface that kind of hinders you in any way, because then you have to kind of get back into the zone, and if anything, the interface should really aid in the immersion. So my job, with the help of James and Derek, is to ensure that doesn't happen, that you guys don't get frustrated, and that everything is working as it should and looks great.
The thing that you said that's the best way to describe it is that if it's one of those things that if it's done well, you don't really see it. If it's done well, you don't really have to explain it. A lot of us, I'm sure, have played video games where there's something that just drives you insane about it, whether it's like that shouldn't be the jump button. Like, my thumb keeps pressing a button that I think is going to be like shoot. It'd be like taking a first-person shooter and making the trigger button on a controller a jump button. That makes no sense to the gaming brain. That's the trigger button. It always has been for, that's the shoot button, while, the up arrow or triangle or whatever button is usually the jump button. So stuff like that, it's people like Luke who kind of figured that stuff out years and years ago, but it's people like Luke who make sure that we do stuff like that. So, that the controls of THG aren't maddening, or the menu screen isn't annoying. We've all played games where the menus just take forever to load from menu to menu, which isn't necessarily like their job, but it's just the overall experience of menu screens and interacting with objects that it's not just not annoying, but pleasing as well. A good example is to pick up an object in a video game. I'll use this hand. Pick up an object in a video game and rotate it and look at it. There's a good way to do that, a bad way to do that, and a way that makes it feel supernatural. And Luke's been helping us with all that sort of stuff. So we do have a super chat real quick from who else but Jake Rutigliano. Have you considered a UI similar to Adventure at a Time or Titanic Explorer? I feel like we have not, because we definitely want to take advantage of modern video games and be able to make the most modern type of UI and whatnot, and make it as easy as possible. If we used something similar to Adventure Out of Time, it would definitely, I feel like it would turn off most fans, certainly fans who never played Adventure Out of Time. But there is always room for like a vintage Adventure Out of Time style, an option maybe that you can turn on for fun. But the actual default UI, I think, will be something that Luke and me and Derek will refine and make super smooth and super nice. Cool. So we have some images here. Oh, well, here's a good question that I think people would like to know. How did this all happen with you joining THG? Because this is actually, I think this is the first time you and I have spoken on a video chat, right? We've only ever spoken over audio only. So
yeah.
How did it come about? How did you find us and contact us and all that?
So, I mean, I've always been a fan, just like, all of you guys. I strongly believe that, fans make the best staff. And I'm sure James will agree, because we're all so passionate, and, we're all kind of, in it for the same thing, which is to kind of see this game released and to enjoy it. And yeah, so I approached James and Derek with some designs, some concepts that I put together. They decided that they really liked them. There's always that concern that James would be like, what the hell is this? But no, it was thankfully it was well received, and yeah, so I was asked to come on board, and here I am.
Great. Yeah, we get a lot of submissions from a lot of people about a lot of different things, and obviously we appreciate everybody's submissions and attempts to be a part of the team, and we have room for everybody. I mean, we obviously are mostly a volunteer based project, and so we love all the volunteers, but Luke's just stood out. We're going to show you, we're going to go through right now the images he sent us, just sort of a just audition thing. Like you made these, we didn't ask you to make them, you just made them and sent them as like, this is what I can offer the project. And just seeing this stuff is always really exciting. This is not what the game will look like, because you will see what the game will look like later on in the stream. The like sort of feel we're going for now. So let's look at some of these. So let me pull these up and put us in the bottom corner. Sorry about my just the screen sharing. This is, of course, we're doing this on the fly. Let's do that works. Okay. So we're both on screen, and so is our first image. So this is sort of like an intro image that you made. Classic, nice and clean. That's the kind of thing that I like, at least. I don't know if you have anything to say about it before I show something a little more.
I mean, yeah, and this sort of stuff is quite traditional. Like, it's quite, it's not necessarily kind of the route that I would go down. This is purely just an example. I mean, we have sort of, since you and Derek and I have obviously moved away from this sort of thing. So, but yeah, this is just I guess a very traditional looking,
yeah,
I guess,
well,
start screen.
Definitely got my attention, at least, because I'm very much a simplest. I like simple stuff. All right, been a long day. Here we go. So this is our next little image. Let me make sure it's showing. There we go. So this is sort of a nice little main menu. And the fun thing about this sort of stuff and what we've been working on, I think I've said it on a previous stream, but I love menu screens. And when I was a kid, I used to like draw them out, like made up menu screens. And I probably made one about the Titanic at some point. But I don't know if you want to talk about anything with this. I mean, again, this isn't what we're going with. You'll see, we're gonna, I'll just say it now. At the end of the stream, we're gonna show off what our main menu is going to look like. So yeah, but this is just very clean and pretty, and I love it.
Yeah, again, very traditional. Very kind of, I guess, what you'd expect from like a lot of games these days. They kind of do the whole, navigation on the left type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, yeah, we have sort of moved away from this sort of design. Yeah, I think it was definitely the right call to make, because what we've kind of come up with since is so much cooler.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right, and then this is even earlier. This is actually, I think, the first thing you sent because it has our old logo.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I prefer that one, but
fun fact as well is the image or the screenshot used in the background is actually from Titanic. So that's Patroness of the Mediterranean,
right.
At night, which to the untrained eye is basically Titanic, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything on this spot that would
controversial.
Yeah. This is a great image here because as anybody who's seen our log entry stuff, which we'll talk about in a second, I saw this, and it was this image that I was like, we need to get Luke on our team because I just love the recreation of this Marconi gram or whatever. It just shows the imagination that you have for this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be the whole kind of did you know thing that a lot of games do, where you kind of throw random facts at you. So, depending on the room that you've kind of in this case, we're trying to load a checkpoint from the wheelhouse. So this is something about tiller commands. That's the rationale behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's super, super solid. And then the last one of this is just a little map image. And I know this was something that Derek liked a lot. But yeah, it's just something clicked for us seeing these images and seeing what you do with the UI UX stuff, which before you contacted us, I honestly didn't really know existed. But this is the sort of stuff that excites me. So it's pretty cool to see this stuff.
The map is actually it's actually an Olympic.
Yeah, I think it's
curved wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, that's the difference, I guess. And then the bridge wings aren't. They don't extend over the side. Okay, cool. Let's switch over. Excuse the very attractive. How did I do this? There we go. So we'll just look through some of these. This is stuff that people have seen already, but we have the guy who made them here to talk about them a little bit more in depth. So if you guys don't know, we're recreating the Titanic, of course, but we are filling it with these things we call log entries, which are how you sort of learn all about the ship. And the first thing that Luke did when he joined the team is we started the process of figuring out what does a log entry look like. And I actually, this is a good example of collaboration and whatnot. In my vision of log entries, my vision was for the information to appear on screen, sort of in actually appear on screen with a little faded background. And that would have worked for me. In fact, I made my own little concept image to show people what I was talking about, and it was nice. But then it's Luke and Derek, who is very much like, whatever you want, I can figure it out. And Luke, who had the imagination to come up with different, just different ideas. And this was it. This was one of them, that the log entries actually be actual, in a book in your hands, written on the page. And because Luke is so good at recreating that sort of thing, this worked out. So anything to say about the anchor cable log entry, which is now complete? A lot of this has changed, but This was our first concept images of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the first time that I think you showed these, so there were some people who were concerned with maybe the legibility of the cursive text. So I guess it's important to mention that as part of like the UX, we will have options where you can kind of toggle the different kind of fonts to make things more legible. It's a huge accessibility point. You kind of have to read what's in front of you. If you're in it for the immersion, you might be okay just kind of reading the cursive. You might want to try and, I'm kind of 50-50. Sometimes I like to kind of be fully immersed and try and read things, and then sometimes I'll just turn the subtitles on or something. But yeah, there will be options. Things will be accessible, and yeah, that's
cool. Yeah, and then another thing we talked a lot about with you is controls for the logbook, which will be probably completely different. But we talked a lot about those controls on the right and how they will appear. And this is one of those things where we had a bunch of different ways of doing it. I know some people they'll draw like a little keyboard, or they'll have like the image of it. And I think I said to you, like, the way I see it, it's that thing where it's like a very faint mouse picture, but the button is like super vibrant. And like 2 minutes later, you were like, this? And yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. So that's the fun part about coming across people to work with that just seem to understand what you're on the same wavelength, where I can say to Luke, this is how I think it should look. And then he makes these concepts. And before we move on, another thing about this system that we've done, Luke is very, very good at making these concept images. This like image, for example, this is not from the game as it stands now. That is a screenshot of the forecastle that I think I sent him, that he made blurry to make it, that out of focus look, which I did request. The chain link picture is from historical documents. The text is added over a picture of a book. Like, this is all constructed by Luke, and he's very good at that. And the reason that this is so great is we can make these concepts, and once we have settled on the final concept image, we can give it to Derek, and he can start making it actually happen, and which he has done already in many cases. The best example is the main menu, which we'll show at the end. I had a vision for the main menu that, Luke and Derek sort of took and ran with and made so much better. But Luke made the concept, and then Derek actually put it in the engine. And it's a lot more efficient than Derek putting it in the engine and then us sending him notes. And then he has to go in and reprogram everything every single time. So amazing. We love this stuff. Next image. This is the testimonials. Yeah.
Probably my favorite of the log entries. Yeah. The testimonials. I don't know why. I'm really kind of drawn to them.
Mm-hmm. They also were, these are very much your creation, because I obviously the idea for the testimonial entries was mine, and I told you about them, and I imagined that they would be, you walk in a room and you just get a prompt in the corner for a passenger's name. And when you click that, you hear the testimonial. And that's all I said to you. And then you sent me the image of this paper with the quote on it. And it's completely not what I asked for. And it was so much better than what I asked for. And so, so the whole idea of the paper being the card being put in the book, is so much better, because now we can put these anywhere on the ship. We can, we'll have one on the forecastle deck for the first release. There will be one of these on the forecastle deck for you to find for the one bit of testimonial that I could find about the forecastle deck. Not a lot of survivor testimony specifically about the forecastle deck. But once we get into the ship, where there's so much more, and then you get into cabins where the people actually lived or, resided in for a few days. So it's, I could see why these are your favorite, because they're kind of a lot of your creation.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, like, you were describing log entries to me, and I was like, how do we translate that sort of visually? And you're going to find these things kind of sitting on dressers or on tables, and I was thinking, so why don't we use White Star stationery? Like, why don't we use like a letterhead, or So this is actually a hybrid. It's actually a White Star letterhead in like a postcard format. So it's not exactly historically accurate. However, it suits our purpose quite well.
Yeah, and it also, we want to be super accurate with the ship for sure, but there is a bit of freedom you get from creating something fictional. This is why, Jack and Rose exist, because it's much easier to write a wild, crazy story for your 1997 movie than to like base it off of something real. So for these are based off of those letters that those blank pieces of paper that might be in the reading and writing room, for example, but they are something that never really existed. So we have the freedom to put things on it that, these testimonies. So it's an otherworldly thing. It's the same thing with the logbook. This logbook isn't real. It's not, it's somewhat based on, Thomas Andrews' notebook sort of thing, or the specification books. But it's its own thing, so we can put whatever we want in it. It gives us a little bit of fiction within our, way over the top historical accuracy that we're going for. Cool. Let's go to the next one here. This one, I think these are my favorite, the visual log entries, mostly because this is another good example of, I had an idea for the visual entries that you would line up the photo with the actual spot. And then Derek was the one that suggested what would happen when that things would turn black and white. There'd be like a flash bulb, genius idea from him. And then you put this together and found this, that little image on the right page. But particularly the image on the left, the photo, is actually not the real photo.
No.
It's from the game. And you can tell, it says THG in the bottom corner instead of what it would usually say, which is like RW probably.
This is from the famous Holland and Wolf photographer, Kyle Hudak.
Yes. Yes, genius photographer Kyle Hudak. But yeah, this one works out really well. I think this is the only one that has it has the voiceover on the page. So like this is all subject to change. We've got to figure out what we want to do with that. Whether the voiceover is on the page or it's just listened to. But yeah, I'm really excited for people to get to do this kind of visual entry. And there will be one on the Forecastle deck. There'll be one spatial, visual, and testimonial on the Forecastle, and then 47 physical if we get that high. And again, we have to test it and see if it's even fun to have that many. It can, as we all know, if you've played games with lots of side quests, it sometimes becomes overwhelming, and it's just, I don't want to have that much to do. So we may cut it down to the essentials, so that way you get the most enjoyment out of the game possible. But at its maximum, there is 47 physical log entries and 3 of the one of each of the other 3. So if we can do that and it's fun, that's a lot. It's a lot to find. So we'll see about that. Any other thoughts on this one? I think this one.
It's important to point out as well that like all of this is very much conceptual. So and a lot of it has been put together in quite a short amount of time. Although there has been time and thought put into it, time is not a luxury that we have. So obviously, if we want to get this thing out to you guys, we need to kind of, we're fairly quick with our concepts. So yeah, it's likely to change and is likely to become better. Right. Much better, hopefully.
Getting better all the time.
Yes,
great.
100%.
Next one, you talk about this one for a little bit. I'm going to try and figure something out for our other because as you guys know, we're doing this on the fly. I got to try and upload something we can show you guys the more exciting thing here. So talk away for just a second.
Okay, so yeah, so this is obviously the grand staircase, the forward grand staircase. You know, we have got some information in there. For a while, we were kind of debating how do we, because there is so much information about the grand staircase, the various sort of combination of styles, and you know, we wanted to make sure that we put as much of that in there as possible. So in the kind of eventual, you know, the finished entry, there will be much more information, but for now it's quite limited. I think it says like Louis 16th others, which obviously implies that there's other styles.
Oh yeah, there's like 5 in there.
Yeah.
And when we actually do it, I want to arrange it where they're all on there. I think it's this was I think some of these were made like the day before we showed them, and we're just trying to show you guys the best version of what we want them to be. If we made them exactly how like I vision them to be, we would just be changing things constantly. So eventually you have to go, you know what, just put others,
stick others in
and
there.
let's show everybody what our progress is at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, something like the grand staircase will likely be a 2-page spread, or there will be, you know, an option where you can expand the information, and you know, you will have it says Louis 14th. There will be an option where you can expand the information, and you'll have a nice box where you can kind of read more and scroll, or something like that.
There's I'm thinking about if it's a, you know, like folksel, for example, is a weird word, and warping is a phrase that is very specific to shipping. So maybe you hover over those words to get a definition of where folksel came from, what warping means, what mooring means, what towing means. I feel like that's pretty obvious. But and then we also have to this was all made a long time ago, and so much has happened with these log entries. And one of the things that we now want to do is, oh, did I put the wrong Louis? I think people say I put the wrong Louis.
Yeah.
Did I? Oh no, my bad. Yeah, obviously we will fix it. This is again just a concept. But the one of the things that we want to do with log entries now that, you know, is new for this is we want to source everything to as much of a degree as we can. So, you know, like for example, Louis the whatever, to hover over that, or to have a source list icon in the bottom, and you can see where did we get that from, and then you can do your own research and make sure that we were correct. I'm confused. I'm trying to keep up on all this. I don't know what people are talking about. Okay, great. There's a typo. Where's the other typo? Obviously, I had the wrong Louis. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Let's show the next image. And so this one is great because this is also something that I didn't ask for. But Luke is just somebody who just gets things done. So he worked on this. Talk about this for a second, Luke.
Yeah, it is very much a case of, you know, I will message James and say, here's a bunch of stuff that you didn't ask for. Have at it. And then, you know, you browse through it and they're like, yeah, this is cool. Let's use it. So this is obviously the third class dinner menu. It's been recreated with like vector images and stuff, so it's fairly high res. Again, this is something that we'll probably improve. But yeah, the idea is that you would approach the table. You've seen the video. You know, you would kind of select the menu. You would have it come kind of full screen, and then you would add that to your logbook. So it will be very much a case of you will just collect everything, basically, including menus.
Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of stuff to collect. I have a running list going for sure. Yeah, I just love the way that this whole thing looks. I mean, and I love the little concept video that we made. Again, it's not from anything. This is just a screenshot that's just very cleverly, everything's just very cleverly done for sure. Cool. I think we only have like one more and then we're done. Oh, maybe two more. And then this is the same image just before you pick it up. So I should have gone like that. Okay. Yeah. This is an image no one has seen before. Yay. So talk about this a little bit, because I actually don't recall this as much.
So this is, again, another testimonial entry on a table in the Strauss suite. This is a screenshot that Derek, I think, sent to me. I'm not sure whether this is UE5. I don't think it is. I could be wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, it does look pretty crisp, but yeah. Yeah, it's essentially what you see in the Beasley video. It's the same thing. You know, you approach the table, you see the log card, you would select it, it would kind of come full screen, and then you would add that again to your book. Something else, I guess, which is important to point out as well, is that a lot of the the UI elements on the screen, the positioning of those, it's based on data. So we do a lot of UX research. You know, we look at how the games do it. You know, if you see something that's done in a bunch of other games, it's because it's based on data. We know it works. So if we feel that, you know, we need to kind of have those UI elements on the right-hand side at the bottom, then we do it because it's based on data. We follow the data and we do what works. We try not to reinvent the wheel too much,
right?
Because that's when you kind of run into usability issues, and, you know, familiarity is good as long as we can obviously reskin it and make it our own. That's obviously the important thing. But yeah, that's the Strauss.
Cool.
Suite.
Cool. I think Matt said it's C55, maybe. I'm not sure. Matt knows. Okay. Matt knows all. Who knows? Well, Matt does. Someone asked a question in the chat. This is important. If you donate $50 via YouTube, then you own a copy of the game, right? I'm 99% sure that is not true. The contributions made on YouTube are their own thing. We had a perk back in the day, in previous fundraisers, where you could donate $50 and you would have a copy of the game. Those perks, that was part of a fundraiser that ended years and years and years ago. Of course, if you did donate $50 during that time, that is still the case. You still have a copy of the game, you earned that perk. But donating $50 now does not get you a copy of the game. The only way to get a copy of the game now would be to join Patreon, but we should have a whole talk about that. I don't want to say anything. Disregard anything I just said, because I'm not the person to ask about the details of that right now. We should, when we get closer to the alpha, we'll probably have a whole thing where we'll maybe like a short video that we can put on YouTube that just sort of goes over that process and like what you're entitled to and all of that. We had a little graphic going around that we made that sort of explained everything really well, that you could join Patreon to get early updates. You could purchase a copy when the game comes out, and then you would be a part of the free updates. It's for another time, topic for another time. And then last image, and then we'll move on to some more fun stuff. This is just a close-up of the testimonial log entry from that video we made, where my dear friend Alex voiced the guy. And so that's that. So I can actually get rid of that. So we Matt just posted in the chat on YouTube, if you wish to support us, check out our Patreon. Patreon is the best way for us to fund the game. We used to do individual donations, which we appreciate everybody's individual donations from back in the day. But now we're focusing on Patreon. It's great because we get a monthly donation from people instead of just one. So we have a chance to plan out our budget, as opposed to, you know, fingers crossed, I hope we get some donations this month. It's more of a consistent thing. So we actually have a chance at planning things out. So we will get to more questions like that later on. Is the Is it the old Devstream? Are we on Devstream 7? I don't care. All right. So everybody, we only have one other thing to show, and I did manage to get it uploaded while we were talking, so we actually can watch it. So let's talk about the menu for a second, and then we'll show you guys the new menu, and then we'll answer your questions. We'll do a giveaway, and then we'll all go home. The menu screen, super important to me. Menu screens. I think I don't think they can make or break a game. They can break it if it's really, really bad. But a great menu screen can really, really bump up a game in my book. I'm trying to think of menu screens that do it, but games that are just super iconic, like if you think of Breath of the Wild, their menu screen is as simple as humanly possible because it's Zelda. You don't need anything. But when I think back to menu screens that left an impression on me, Ocarina of Time, the screen fades up. There, you hear the horse galloping across the hill, and you hear that beautiful music. It is just stuck, forever on my brain. So I want us to have a menu screen, maybe not like that, but a menu screen that sticks with you. So we've worked out a bit of an intro with the credits and whatnot. We're not going to show that because we want to score that to music, and we are still working out the music for the game. But what we're going to show here is the menu screen as it stands without the intro at the beginning. So you will hear music that you are familiar with. We are using the music from Demo 3 just as a stand-in for now. When we made this menu, it had the same sort of setup where I would just explain what I'm thinking, and Luke would make a concept, and Derek would actually make it happen. And this is another example of these guys suggesting something. I think this might have been Derek who suggested the movement in the menu screen, because this was actually just going to be the stand-in for the alpha. We had a whole nother plan for the main game, but I like it so much now. This might just be our style for the menu. Any thoughts on putting this together before we watch? It seems you're muted.
Yeah, I was.
There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was, obviously we were originally going with a more traditional menu, and there's actually an example, James. I just dropped an example of that kind of first concept in that Dropbox folder.
Oh, sure.
We decided to ditch the traditional menu because I guess it's because it's traditional, because it's good to kind of step outside of that, that comfort zone and do something a little bit different. This has been done before, like it's not like a new thing.
There we go. I popped up the menu this was like an early concept, right?
Yeah. So this is kind of similar to the new. This is basically the new idea. Part of the new idea. The old idea is there as well. It should be menu landing.
Sure. Let me click around a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember this now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a more traditional menu.
Right. This was how it started. I forgot.
Yeah. And we decided that we're gonna ditch this essentially.
Yeah. I mean, this was fun to put together. Just some things about this that were, all requests from myself. Obviously, we wanted to use the Harlan and Wolff building. I mean, it's iconic, and we have it, and it's beautiful. But the simplistic menu is pretty important to me. That yes, you should be able to track your progress, and there should be options, and you should be able to quit. But the phrase "embark" was something that stuck out to me. Whether it's tour mode, a syncing mode, a story mode, whatever mode, it would all come from the embark button. And then on the right, you have just some examples of news that would pop up at, and maybe they would cycle or they'd be different every time. And the top one would always say what the next space that's going to be released is. And then, of course, support the project and our Patreon as well. And then patch notes and whatnot. But so we ended up, of course, moving on to this idea, which this was, I think the original idea for this was actually no, it was always meant to move, I think, because so this was the beginning of something that Derek suggested, that instead of just it being this static menu, I mean, what we wanted was the weather to change, the time of day to change behind the Harlan and Wolff building. In fact, if it's 5:00 p.m. where you are, and you you log onto the game, it should be 5:00 in Harlan and Wolff, or maybe it's whatever time it really is in Belfast. That's the time that it is in the game, so that we'd have a dynamic lighting and maybe some weather would come in. But then that's what sparked the final version of this. Any thoughts on this before we show the video?
Not on this just yet. The previous one, so like, yeah, it's static, it's traditional, but the background, we actually, the idea was to have that as like a day-night cycle.
Right.
So we'd set it up as a level and just kind of have it just cycling between day and night. Right. That was, I think, Dominik's idea. But yeah.
No, the day and night thing, I'm a big day-night cycle guy. Yeah, I very much love the day-night stuff. Just to give something a little bit more use than just to show this and have it always be this. It looks really nice at night, but the Belfast looks so beautiful in the morning as well.
But it was never going to be a static background. It was always going to cycle between something.
Exactly.
Whether it be weather elements or. Yeah.
So let's jump to this video. So this is just a concept, as always. In fact, I think I have a little work in progress button. This is extremely early. This is like
no,
I'll put it up. This is extremely early. This is our first shot at putting this together, just to show the rest of the team, like, this is what we're working on. Does anyone have any major issues with this? And everybody's response has been like, oh my God, that's amazing. So you're going to hear music that is not the final music. It's the music from demo 3. You're going to see a menu screen that is, essentially finished. Maybe, I have feelings about making something a little brighter or something, like little details like that. But particularly when we leave the train car, that is very much conceptual. And we'll talk about what we're thinking about for the next spot. So let's see if this works. I'm not sure if it's going to. So are we ready? Here is our main menu. Oh yeah. So things that I immediately think to just mention, we would obviously want to add the sound effect of the door opening and closing. We would want to add what was the other thing? Oh, so when you get to the tour mode, syncing mode thing, instead of it just being on the pole like it was, what we're thinking of now is covering the pole in notice papers, something like, Harlan and Wolff employees are reminded not to blah 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 blah. Harlan and Wolff employees are reminded not to, little notice boards, not boards, notice flyers, I guess you could say. And the one that you zoom in on will say, embark, tour mode, syncing mode, or whatever. And then if you click on options, you'll go somewhere else. And the thing we're kind of messing around with right now is placing a few propeller notice boards against a wall. And one of them, instead of saying notice, instead of saying this, it would say options, and then it would have the options that you can pick between. And then hopefully in a perfect world, you go all around that little scene for the different sub menus. And then when you click on, play or embark or whatever the button would be, it would fade and then you'd appear on Titanic. And though in I just got another idea. I'll save that. So yeah, there's lots of cool things to work on with that yet. Luke, some thoughts on the video?
Yeah, so the focus on that, well, the focus should really be on the animation. So like not the words or anything like that just yet, because that I still need to kind of design that
Right.
to suit the scene. Derek has put together this amazing animation. The idea is that, I would then take that and apply my kind of menu design to it. He's just kind of taken stuff from my concepts and applied it to the animation. But yeah, it's going to look superb. No, I've no doubt about that.
Right.
I think the idea is just, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks so great, and there's something about rolling up in that train and it's slowing down and it's raining outside. It's awesome. It wouldn't necessarily always be raining. There'd be different weather, different times of day. Again, it'd be fun if the time of day that you approach Harlan and Wolf at the beginning of the game is the time of day that you are currently in. That would just be fun in my book. And then it was actually this menu screen that spurred the idea of looking into the weather systems and the time of day systems that we showed off in a video on YouTube the other day, and we showed off last Devstream. And a slight note on that, and a slight note on all of this. Many fans are quick to assume that us working on a menu screen or us working on the weather or the time of day means that we're not working on the ship and that we are not making any progress and that we're just focusing on stuff we shouldn't be focusing on. I assure you, the slogan of Titanic Honoring Glory at this point is focus on the ship. The only reason we're doing this is because Luke does not build the ship. I do not build the ship. Derek does not build the ship. We're the only 3 people on the team that I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure. Well, Zeno, he's got his models, of course. But the rest of us, Andy does the website. But like the 3 of us, we don't make models of the winches or a crane. Like we can't. We have no experience doing that. I think Derek might have a little bit of experience doing that, but his strength is programming. That's what he does. So we are doing what we do, which is, UI, UX, programming, and whatever it is I do, coming up with ideas. But so I rest assured, if there's a new weather system or a new time of day situation, it's just because Derek isn't doing anything right now, and so he's prepping the engine for when we have some ship to show off. And the first thing we can do is show you the ship and then make it rain and then make it snow. Just fun features that that'll be cool. But pretty soon, Derek will be hard at work programming individual pieces of Titanic, doors opening and whatnot. But and then Luke, I don't know. I guess we will move on to working on individual entries, and if you go up to the windlass, how might you make the anchor fall, stuff like that. So we have other discussions to be had once we get to that point. But right now, the fun thing that we get to do is work on a little menu screen, and that's why we have this cool little menu. So that is, I think, unless you have anything else to say before we go to questions.
I don't think so.
All right. And at the end of the stream, we'll watch that video one more time because it is awesome. And there's other things we want to change. I mean, there's a chance we will switch out the mode of transportation that you arrive on, because the idea of there being like a full passenger train carriage on those tracks isn't really historically there. It may more likely that it was, and it's shown in pictures, are these like really cool old trams. So maybe you arrive on a tram. I don't know. We have so much to do. It's again, this is stuff we're just getting ahead of the game here. So when we're getting closer to the alpha release, we're not scrambling like, oh my gosh, we need a menu. So awesome. Let's dive into these questions. So usually we have like a little, Luke, could you pull up the questions document? Do you know where that is?
I can. Can somebody?
Yeah, somebody send Luke the questions document. Meanwhile, I'm just going to go back in the chat and find stuff. Did we miss? Oh, of course. I missed a super chat from Monskar. Every time, Monskar. Thank you so much. There is no live stream, THG live stream, without Monskar. So we'll just go through, I'll go through some questions that I have on the chat, and by the time I'm done, I'm sure we'll have more questions that hopefully people have been putting on our little doc. And I'll speed through the ones that have been answered. We're going to have a FAQ up soon because we get a lot of the same questions. Will it have Xbox controller compatibility? Absolutely. We will have the ability in the options menu to choose controller, and you can have a controller and do it that way. That is definitely something that is a Luke question for sure. Let's see if there's another question. I know there's a bunch. I saw them go by. Alexandra mentioned that, yes, and this is, yes, this is a good thing to point out, that when I was talking about side quests, you know, sometimes there's so many side quests and you can choose them and do them all together. You can do them if you want, or you can turn them off. I am the kind of person, if there are side quests, I need to do them. It's just like a OCD thing. I got to do every side quest. And if there's 1,000 of them, I feel overwhelmed. So I guess I'm speaking more to people like myself. And the thing is, these log entries, you can turn them off. So yeah, if you're not really into going crazy about them, then yeah, you can turn them off. So we'll probably include as many as we can, just so we can, you know, have as much for people as we possibly can. Okay, let's get to the next question. This is a good question. That might be for you, Luke. Will the UI have fixed size, or is it resizable to other resolutions? You are muted.
I'm muted.
There you go.
So the aim is always to have the UI be responsive if possible. So in short, yeah, it will scale depending on the screen size or upscale. It will always be a responsive UI.
Great. Here's a question that I'll hit really quick because this is off topic, but it's a good question. How do you guys know the full interior of Titanic? I can't find an image showing it. There's very few images of the interior of Titanic. We base all of our research off of the photos we do have, plans that we have. A big source of information is the Olympic and Britannic specification books, which sort of writes out in text very, very detailed descriptions of what everything should look like. And then if we don't have that for certain areas, we base it off of other Harlan and Wolff ships that we do have photos or plans of. And if not that, other ships of the era, things like that. And we talked about last week, if we get to a room, or last Devstream, if we get to a room that is not quite, not well known, we have no photos of it, there's no plans of it, no one knows what it is, it's just like listed as general store or something like that, or general storage, we might look on another ship and find a similar setup, and we will use that as our plans. And then in the spatial log entry, there will be a little notice explaining this room is heavily based off of the Adriatic's general whatever storage room that was also on D deck. We believe this is the closest we can get to knowing what it was. So you'll have that sort of information, like what everything is based off of, which is fun for us. This is a great question. Will you make the log entry book a physical book in the THG store? Oh, yes, we will. I can't wait to do that. And I don't know, maybe it'll just be empty and you can like have it as a journal. Or maybe it'll have all the work that we did, you know, all the text in there, but then you'll have to wait till we're done, which is, you know, I guess that's fine. Cool. I know there are some fans that hate when we respond to all these messages, the same questions. Will the game be on consoles? We'll do our best, but we're focusing on PC. Will there be VR support? Absolutely. Maybe not right off the bat when the alpha starts, but we really hope so. Hopefully by the end of the free alpha to making things. Do you have any questions on there, Luke, that you can? I'm not sure if you got to that document or not. And you're muted again.
Sorry. I do this like all day, every day. So I'm used to like muting myself now.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't have a link, unfortunately.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, cool. Well, I've gone through a whole bunch and I haven't seen any other questions. Feel free, everybody. We're going to do the giveaway now and put your questions in the chat. If we haven't answered your question yet. Here's a great question from Derpy Possum. Will the alpha have a soundtrack? Absolutely. I mean, it'll have a soundtrack in the game. There will be music. I don't know where we won't have it's not going to be on Spotify necessarily. One day it will be, but I doubt the alpha music will be. We will have news on the music soon. Soon trademark THG. That's good. All right, so let's move on. Okay, cool. That's good. I think we got to. Here's a good question. What will you do after THG? I have no idea. Will the game only be sold digitally? I can assume that is true. To sell it like physical copies would be very difficult. And then here is the last question before we move on to the giveaway. This is from Labras. Is Luke single? That's my question. Oh, boy. Oh, he's married. But at least tell them where you got engaged.
So I proposed to my now wife in Belfast, actually, the Thompson Engraving Dock.
Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm. I think that's amazing.
Which was more for my benefit.
Yeah, I assumed. Yeah. I think my fiance would murder me, but
yeah, it was very much a case of why are we here in this wet place, you know, and everywhere is just it didn't look great because it was just the weather was horrible. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
That's all that matters, isn't it?
Absolutely. Next question from Jared F. This is a super chat. Thank you, Jared F. Will the Grapes Bar in Southampton be accessible and we'll be able to talk to the Slade brothers? Well, first of all, the slogan of the game, focus on the ship. We're getting the ship done. If we do release any Belfast, well, that's in Southampton. If we would release any ports of call, there was another question someone asked, will we be able to go to all the different ports of call? If we're going to finish the ship first. That is the number one goal. We'll maybe release a little Belfast, maybe like the dock, like right there. We don't want to go too far outside of the ship because that is the stuff that starts to add up, and then suddenly we still don't have a ship. So when the ship is finished, this is my new thing. When the ship is finished, everything is back on the table. Who knows what we can do with this beautiful game. But let's finish the ship first. So perhaps would be the answer to that question. What I will tell you is the old version of THG, the Slade brothers were, and going to the Grapes was part of the first level. RIP to that script. I had a lot of fun writing it, but one day you will see it. You'll see all the stuff we put together. This is a good question. Can you play the piano with the piano? We're working on something fun for that. You won't be able to play with an actual piano, but like a MIDI keyboard, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. That's good. I think we're having. Oh my gosh! Let me just make sure that I made it to the bottom of the list. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right, so we're gonna do a giveaway. Hopefully, Matt texted me because I asked him for Matt. I hope you checked your phone. What did I do with my phone? Found it. I need a trivia question, and he didn't send it to me, so I'm gonna have to come up with a trivia question on my own. Oh boy, what am I going to do for a trivia question? This is tough.
What color were the capstans?
There we go. That's a good question. What color were the capstans?
Wrong answers only.
Right. Yeah. No, we are open to all colors of the capstans. We will see. I haven't done enough research yet. Oh wait, maybe I'm getting messages on here. I hear laughing. Are people having fun at your apartment?
Yeah.
Or your home? I don't know. Do you live in an apartment or a home?
It's a home.
Okay, cool.
It's outside. Some people are drinking and having some fun.
Oh, good.
It's a nice warm evening.
So nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's on. All right, I'm just going to make up a trivia question then. So, unless I just got one. I don't think so. Hold on. Oh, I got it. I'm looking right at it. Duh. Okay. Thank you, Matt. Matt put it on Discord. So, so this is our trivia question, and we are going to give away 2 of these guys. We talked about them. This is a recreation that we have in our store of the notice boards that go on the around the stern of Titanic. Lots of debate over what color they should be. So we're going to give away 1 to the first person to get it right on YouTube and 1 to the first person to get it right on Twitch. We are going to go off of the chat that I have. Sometimes I might get, if you send them at the exact same time, I might get 1 out of the order, but it's part of the game. Whoever pops up first with the correct answer. So the question is, and the reason it's about the purser. The reason being, I was trying to think, what should our question be about? I think it should be about the purser. Because the purser is sort of the user experience guy of Titanic, right? He makes sure that everything is great. You go to him with your problems. Make sure the user experience on Titanic would be handled by the purser. So this is a question about the purser. So and there's multiple answers, I think. Okay, so the question is, name a passenger who the chief purser, Hugh McElroy, dined with. We've got 5 possible answers, it looks like. So, Matt, you may need to specify, are these just like people we know that they dined with, or are these like, is this like part? Oh, we got some answers already. Oh my gosh, so many answers. Okay. Oh no, so many answers. Okay, let me go back. I'm looking for, there's 5 specific people and I'm getting a lot of answers. I'm guessing, if I'm not mistaken, that these are passengers. So I'm looking for a right answer. I'm not seeing anything.
Someone said James Cameron. That's brilliant. Oh, it's Domi.
Okay. So these are first class passengers, Matt says.
Fantastic.
So I think people are just naming, we got our first winner. People are just naming random people that they know, I think, and hoping that they're right, I bet. So I think we got our first correct answer. Let me just go back and make sure while you guys get your answers in. Okay, so yes. So our first correct answer goes to, let me get down there. Yeah. James Binder, William Henry Harrison is one of the people on this list. That's awesome. And so that is the winner from YouTube, which is much harder because there's a lot more YouTube people than there are Twitch people. Next time we're doing a giveaway, go to Twitch, you guys, because Twitch is a smaller crowd. So now I need somebody from Twitch, and I don't think we're going to get anybody, you guys, because this is a hard question. This is truly difficult. I'm not seeing anything. Oh no, somebody on Twitch go. Yeah, Matt, I think this was too difficult. Yeah, nobody.
Great. They're really good.
Nobody's got one. Let me check YouTube. Maybe we'll give 2 away to YouTube, the first 2 YouTube people. So we had James Binder up. No. Isn't this great content, you guys? Still not seeing anybody. No, guys. James Binder, if you know multiple ones, we'll send you both. No, we might only be giving away one thing today because I guess we need an easier question. Oh, okay. Well, we got another one on YouTube. So we'll give. It looks like unless somebody got on Twitch and caught up, but no one did. Okay, so we're going to give away 2 to YouTube because it both of them were on YouTube. Oh, okay. And this was it from Thoji. Arthur G is another person. So well done to those 2. The other answers that we were looking for were Frederick Seward, William Stead, and Eleanor Caspier. If you did suggest those and I missed it, let me know, and we will obviously go back and we'll send you something also because I might have missed it, but I don't think I did. Well done, everybody. Sorry about such a tough question. Yeah, there was a G a while back. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're good. So everybody, we did our giveaway. And I think the giveaway sort of stopped all the questions, which is fine. But that's all we have to talk about today.
I just want to shout out my good friend Andy Kane real quick.
Yeah, do it. Talk all about Andy.
Because Andy has been he's worked so hard on the site. And like for those of you who, so basically he's like my second, I guess, partner in crime. So I have many partners in crime. Mm-hmm. He's one of them. And we've kind of worked together on the site. We've designed something which I think is really cool looking. It's unfinished, Eventually it's going to look a lot cooler once we're done with it, with all the important stuff. And we can sort of move on to our phase 2, which is where we can take our time a little bit and polish it up. And I'm sure, as Andy will tell you, time is not a luxury that he has.
Right.
So yeah. But he's worked so hard on that site, and yeah, I'm very proud of him, and I'm just thrilled with everything he's done because he's worked so hard.
Yes, Andy is the best. He's working super hard on the store or on the website, the store. But he's just so many people, Andy included, are just volunteers and the things that this team is willing to do for basically nothing but a pat on the back and a thank you and the chance to be a part of something cool, which is enough for them, and it's been enough for a lot of us for a decade basically. So that is Titanic for you. People just love it. So cool. I think we're good. I think what we'll do is we'll go out with one more watching of the menu video, and then we'll cut to our outro video. And let me do this. Let me show off a couple things. Glad I remembered this. So coming up, hopefully you can still hear me. Yeah, and we're kind of behind the screen. So coming up today was obviously July 16th, the Devstream number 8 with Luke. Next Saturday is our second installment of Deck Games, where I am sitting here at this computer playing Adventure Out of Time. I played the first half of the game, roughly the first half a week ago, and I'm going to finish it off in a week. We're trying to go through the game and do absolutely every single thing you could possibly do, which sometimes means ignoring the main plot and trying to make sure that we speak to everybody. It's been fun. We've already found some things that like I've never heard before because I've never talked to certain characters at certain times. So join us. That's only on Twitch. And then Saturday, July 31st will be Devstream number 9. I think I already know what the topic's going to be, but can't announce it just yet because I'm not sure. But we'll be back in 2 weeks with our 9th Devstream. And then the following week will likely be an off week for me. I think we probably won't do a stream that next week, but there will likely be Devstream number 10. We're going to try our best to keep the dev streams going. I won't be here for Devstream number 10. I am busy. I will be out of the country. So yeah, it's been a pretty crazy July, and it's only the 16th, but we're going to have a stream every single weekend of July, which is pretty cool for us. Here is the details on, I wish I could make us go away. I can't. There we go. This is some more information on Deck Games. Again, it's this coming Saturday, the 24th. At 4 p.m., we're going to play the rest of Adventure Out of Time. I recently put up a schedule that, there you go. I recently put up a schedule that was completely wrong. So I deleted them on all the different sites and I put up a new schedule. So if you wrote down when Deck Games is, it is not on the 31st. It's this Saturday. I don't know why I did that. So, all right, that's it for us. Let's go out with the video of the main menu that me, Luke, and Derek have been working so hard on. We will see you guys in a week for Deck Games, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for Devstream number 10. This has been fun. Luke, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you all for watching.
All right, here we go.